from New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning, Laura Stiles, Rosenberg. Give it up for Super Bowl champion.
The MVP.
MVP. Yeah. Julian Edelman on the program. What's up, sir?
What's going on, guys?
So let's get this out the way early. I despise the Patriots.
I mean, it's bad.
It's like when it comes, I'm a Raiders fan, so it goes all the way back to Tuck Rule. It started there.
It's a long time to hold on to something.
And
Are you from the Bay?
Yeah, I'm originally from Oakland.
I'm from Ebro City, the peninsula.
See? There you go. So you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know. It was painful. It forever left a mark, but I'm happy for you.
I appreciate
and you're a
that.
very talented individual.
Thank you, man. Thanks. Hey.
So I wanted to get that out of the way early. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to get that off the table.
I'm glad you did. It would have been disingenuous to have a whole conversation that he leaves and finds out it's like, that guy just hates the Patriots.
Right.
Gruden, Jerry Rice. That was a big year for the Raiders. That was an exciting year. Gannon over there slinging
Rich
that
Gannon
thing.
was a beast that year.
Why are you doing this?
Timmy Brown.
I want to know why you're making me relive it, though. I just wanted to establish.
I liked the Raiders at that point in my life.
Yep.
You know.
You were at Kent State at the time?
What was that? That was
before
I was in 8th grade, bro.
Yeah. There you go.
I was in 8th grade.
Raiders fan.
I was a Niners, but when Jerry went to the Raiders, Tim Brown and Jerry together, because everyone always loved Tim Brown, regardless of what.
That's right.
If you were a Niners, Tim Brown was just classy, dude, taped his fingers up, 81, swaggy Notre Dame. And then you had Jerry Rice that went over there, and that was kind of like the GOAT. And then I started liking Jeff Gannon. You know, Jeff Gannon was over there with his little sidearm passes. And they had the young coach. Rich Gannon. Yeah, too many hits to the head.
You think about Jeff Garcia? We're having mixing quarterbacks from the era.
Nah.
Now, were you already a wide receiver at this point?
Nah, I was when I was a kid, I was a running back in Pop Warner. I played in Pop Warner from 8 to 14, and then went to high school and I played quarterback. And I played quarterback from high school into junior college at College of San Mateo, and then I went to Kent State University, and I started 3 years there.
At what point, when you have a career that grows like that, do you start to think you could actually make the league?
You know, it was always tricky for me because I was always so focused on, like when I was in high school, I was trying to beat out the senior quarterback. When I went to JUCO, I was trying to beat out the sophomore quarterback. And like you have so much stuff on your plate that you don't really get to think about dreaming that far because you're so focused on what you got. You're just trying to make it. And then, you know, at Kent State, you're trying to win ball games. You know, I mean, we weren't that good, but you were always close. You were always that dangerous team. And then once my my career ended, you know, I had a decision to make to either go play college or quarterback in the CFL or try to live out a dream and play in the National Football League. I mean, no one dreams of going to the CFL. You know, you dream of playing for the Niners.
No disrespect, Canada, but it is
no disrespect. No disrespect.
They know.
You know, but I was ecstatic when I got that contract. I was over there, $100,000 to go play. I'm over here like, oh, let's go.
It still would have been fun.
It still would have been fun, but you know, that's when I made the decision to try to transition and go in and play receiver and learn something completely different. And it was tough.
At what point did you get on the Patriots' radar? When did?
So the tricky thing about that was. So you guys know back in that 2009 draft, there was the Wildcat. Remember the Wildcat that came out and everyone was enticed with the running back that could throw, and I was a dual threat quarterback. And so I was getting looked at by a lot of teams, and you know they didn't know what position to play me. The Steelers came, worked me out as a DB. The Niners came, Chicago came. Everyone all said the same. You know, he played in the MAC. The competition's not great. He's never played the position. We don't know what he could do. Well, the Patriots came out. They worked me out 3 times. They worked me out with the running backs coach, a special teams coach, and then the receivers coach. And then after that, usually teams bring you in for a visit. That's how like the draft process goes. You work out for a team. They bring you in for a visit to meet upper division and all that. Well, all the teams I worked out for brought me in except the Patriots. So I was over here like, well, looks like I'm going to be a Miami Dolphin. And I guess they were trying to keep it under the radar or something, but you know, then they ended up coming out of the woodworks and drafting me in the 7th round, which changed my life.
And so the Belichick thing, right? Him as the mastermind as we know him, it very much feels like he has this concept. He plugs in the perfect pieces to complement Brady's strength and what the team needs to do. And are we reading it right when we understand Belichick's magic?
I mean, I definitely think he has a template of what he wants for a football team. Now, I think it evolves due to team strength and due to your team. Everyone looks at us and, in September, they're like, oh, these guys suck. And in November, oh, these guys are getting better, but they still suck. And it just keeps going like that. Well, what he preaches and he harps is, let's continue to try to improve, and the chips are going to fall to what we do our best and what we don't do our best. And you're constantly relearning and kind of scaling your team each and every week. So I think that's kind of his thing. We just constant improvement, just keep on working your fundamentals. Fundamentals are everything, this guy. We practice tackling and running every day.
Is the version of him we see in the media who he truly is? Or is he just not really good at sharing in public? Like, I read an article where it was just kind of like he's just not good sharing in public.
I would definitely say, I think he handles the media the way like the White House tries to handle the media. Where they're not trying to give anything out. Everything's like schematically given.
Right.
Like everything's determined on what they're going to give you.
Strategy.
This dude has got mind games within mind games within mind games. It's nuts. But he's definitely socially awkward. Socially awkward as heck. I mean, I've only had my first 5 years, I probably spoke to him 6 times, and it was like,
good catch.
It was like, yeah, good catch, good to see you, and pretty much that's it. He's all business, and when you see your leader doing that, and it amazes me how repetition this guy is. I mean, he's won 8 Super Bowls, including with the Giants, and to see how he constantly is so disciplined and doesn't ever cut a corner on his preparation or his evaluation or anything. I mean, it's truly inspiring, and when you see your leaders doing that, it trickles down.
How similar or different? And by the way, Julian's documentary is on Showtime Friday night, 100%. And you can get inside Julian Edelman's life. How similar or different is Tom Brady from a leadership standpoint than Belichick?
I mean, I think they have different personality traits, but there's still similar, those core intangibles of preparation, work, discipline, sacrifice. I mean, those types of things are very similar, but how they handle each other are completely different. Tom's, he's a little more outgoing, and he'll get up on you sometimes if he needs to. With Bill, it's kind of different. He's kind of like he's kind of like Darth Vader or something.
In your documentary, I saw Deion Sanders makes an appearance and Snoop Dogg. What's your relationship with Snoop?
Snoop's my guy, Unc. I've been fortunate enough to get to kick it with him, and him being a West Coast legend and one of my childhood, favorite rappers. We've rubbed elbows a few years back, and we became pretty close and kicked it a few times. And I was fortunate enough for us to get him to come out and support the doc, and he makes it. He's funny as hell on that thing, and he's just really good people, and it's so fun to get to hang out and just kind of brainstorm with a guy like him, because he's like a genius when it comes to just life and everything. When you hang out with him, you just feel a good vibe and great energy of it's unreal. This how metaphorically speaking this guy is with everything, and he can dictate. He can put a story or explain something.
Loves telling the story, right?
But he can explain it in a way that you've never heard, and it's like a poet. And it's been real inspiring to get close with him, and he's definitely he's the G.
He's a national treasure too.
Well, that's fact.
He's literally a national treasure.
He was the first guy, other than Willie Nelson, he's the only guy that I knew before this whole recreational marijuana thing that was legitimately not getting in trouble by anyone for smoking weed in places where it was completely illegal.
Yeah, I mean,
he literally no one stopping Snoop Dogg.
The Dog Father.
He's the dog father. and ironically, and he's also the uncle. He's everyone's uncle.
He's
everyone's uncle.
The way he transitioned too from being the youngest rapper in the game that was like so dangerous seeming. He had a murder case. He had all this stuff.
Murder was the case.
Murder was the
They
case
gave him.
that they gave him.
Yeah.
But then, I'm fresh up out of my coma. Once he got out the chair on the stage, everything changed. And like he became this like elder statesman now that literally everyone. If you're,
he's the dog father. He's
He
a loving
is, man.
dad.
he knows football.
He loves football.
Loves his Steelers.
He loves his Steelers. I hear about it all the time when we're hanging out. But he's definitely he's a genius to me.
Who are your other favorite rappers?
I'm a Bay guy, so
Mac Dre, E40.
Love Mac Dre, love E40, love Andre Nicotina, Mac Mall. I grew up with that stuff in my life. I like some of the new stuff. Drake's got some good stuff, and I'm a huge Hov fan. He's just classic, and he's been doing it for so long, and he's just got that New York vibe and those beats that he puts down and raps to. It's pretty insane. So he's always on the playlist. All his old stuff, new stuff, old Kanye. I like
the old Kanye.
I like some of the new stuff too. I mean, his lyrics, they crack me up, bro. They crack me up.
Bleaching buttholes is a
that's exactly the one I was thinking about right now. You get bleach on the T-shirt, you gonna feel like a
right.
Bleach buttholes is it's been talked about here.
We discussed it. I've discussed that at length.
I don't know, man. He cracks me up. It's entertaining. Yeah. So definitely him. We all like Pac. We all like Biggie. I like all the old West Coast stuff, Nate Dogg and Dre, and obviously Eminem.
In your upcoming documentary on Showtime, which premieres Friday, called 100%. Other than is it about football at all?
It's not just a football story. I think it's more of a life story. It's a resolving problems improvement story. It's a family story of it gives you kind of a perception of and an inside look of what an athlete deals with when he's going through something. And just like everyone sees us play on Sundays and they all see the athlete life and you're traveling around doing this, but we have problems just like everyone else in our lives, and it kind of gives you an inside look of how I dealt with a lot of things that I had to go through with an injury.
What was one of the biggest challenges that just being you've been so focused on football your whole life, right?
Yeah.
So unplugging from that and being I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that in their profession where you're so just head down, focus, that having that work-life balance.
I would say it's that. That's my biggest struggle is balance. Sometimes when you're focused on trying to get to where you want to go, you push people that you love kind of away, and you kind of get so focused up on what you're trying to do that it can come off as like you're
keeping them as outsiders.
Keeping them out as outsiders. Yeah. I would definitely say that's been something, and just mentally battling, the up and down struggles of, what you go through, the pressures and the mental battle you go through of, when you're going through an injury, am I going to be back to where I was? Can I do this? Am I getting older? Like all these types of things that you deal with as an athlete. Those things are probably the biggest struggles, the mental stuff. The physical stuff, getting hurt.
Right.
That sucks, and that is what it is. But that's going to come back. It's more of the constant grinding that you have to go through, that constant mental toughness. Just worrying about little things of improving just one day at a time. You can't get too big or think too ahead of the process. The patience of trying to really do something is something that has always, as a guy that goes 1,000 miles an hour all the time, and you do something, naturally here on a cut or a release or something, and then you have to baby step into that without overdoing it. Those type of things. Those things are always a struggle for me.
Are you, and it must be going into like next season, for example. These are the years that I'm sure you really think about a lot because you're on the back nine. There's no way about that. Most receivers don't play to be Tom Brady's age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, you have him next to you to get some gems from. But so do you think about that? Like how much you want? You already have the championships. It's not like you need to accomplish more
How
in
many
football.
rings do you have?
3.
I got 3.
I mean,
So this is just about. Is this just about how long you
you're
want to be
good.
able to enjoy playing the game for?
Nah, there's. I mean, I think when you're a competitor, you got that dot. You just wanna compete, and as much as it's a strength of having that short memory and that worrying about what's on your plate, and it could be, you know, that's what I always think about. I think about going into the year, what can I do for this year? And that's something my dad always instilled in my head, was always having a short memory, whether it's good, bad, or anything. Like focus on what you have to do that very next in football play, that very next quarter, that very next, practice, all those types of things, and you could apply that to life. Just worry about what you got going right now, and everything will work itself out.
Were you obviously I was very excited when I guess I always assumed you were Jewish, but once it was like sort of confirmed, it was, I'm sure like many other Jews, I celebrated. We have a Jewish Super Bowl champion. How much was Judaism? Was it a huge big part of your life, or was it more cultural for you?
My grandfather was a Jew, and growing up, we really didn't have too much religion in my life. And my father was nothing. My grandfather died when my dad was 2. My dad grew up with a single mom, bouncing around houses, so he didn't grow up with anything. I got real interested when I was about 13, 14 of where do I come from? What am I? Where's my heritage? And so I started looking into Judaism after seeing, the pictures of my grandfather and all that. And, after learning stories of what these people have gone through, David versus Goliath, the thousands of years of slavery in Egypt, the Holocaust, seeing the adversity these people have overcome, it just was so in parallel with my story in my life and what I've always gone through that like it just gravitated, and it went, it caught like fire to me, and I felt a connection. And then going to Israel and experiencing Jerusalem, the Dead Sea, Masada, going in and actually seeing that, I felt such a crazy connection. The Holocaust Museum, and seeing that there was 3,000, 4,000 Edelmans killed during the Holocaust, like that really hit me. So that's when I started.
Where are Edelman's from mostly? Are you?
It's like Polish German Jew.
Got it.
Polish Germany, Ashkenazian.
Right.
So
it was really just your grandfather, but you just took to it.
I took to it. It was my grandpa, and just kind of.
Do you know any other Jews in the NFL currently besides Josh Rosen?
we got Nate Ebner. He's on our team. The guy who played in the Olympics for rugby. There's a few other, but I don't know. Yeah.
It's not like y'all don't click up.
If you see
we got
Josh Rosen,
we got a little
you
Jew
know,
crew. We got a little Jew crew. We got Jew crew.
Is there a text group like you, Josh Rosen?
I haven't met
You haven't met him
Josh.
yet?
I haven't met him yet, but hopefully he does well.
I thought there was a
Not too
chance
well.
momentarily he might come to New England to back up, but it wasn't to be. And he went to the place that all older Jews go to, Miami. So it worked out. It worked out for Chosen Rosen.
Now, is he helping sell tickets? Is any of those old Jews down there in Miami?
I would hope. Listen, that would be my whole marketing. If I was working for the Dolphins,
Your
my whole
marketing
would be. We brought the Jews to Miami. I got to go get a Cuban player now.
Yes.
You got to get a good Cuban player, Jewish player.
Gotta have a Haitian player.
You get a
I think
Haitian
he may have
player,
one. He probably had
and you
one.
could sell him Miami.
Sony Michel.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's Asian.
There you go. Julian, so did you hate or how did you feel about when the game got really political over the last couple of years with kneeling and anthem, and what was your vibe on all of that?
It's tough. I thought it was a tough situation because you see from both sides how it can affect people, and I've always kind of stayed out of it. But you understand what guys are trying to do when they kneel, and you feel sympathy for what's going on in that force of the world and what people have to deal with. But then you have old timers and you got people that are super tradition based, And, you know, you got servicemen and women that, you know, it affects with what they do, and you never want to disrespect them because, I mean, those people literally sacrifice their lives to for whatever reason, go out and try to protect our country and do the best they can. I mean, you know, I'm a big military guy, but, you know, I grew up, you know, most of my friends, I played football, you know, they're all black.
Yeah.
And so you understand, and I've been in the car when, you know, friends gotten pulled over or this and what they have to go through. So, you know, I've always kind of backed away from it, but I'm understanding on both.
Do you think it's crazy? Does it surprise you that Kaepernick literally never played again and probably will never play again?
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty surprising. You know, at this point, as a football player, you wonder if he's still keeping in shape. Can he still do it? You know, but I mean, it's pretty.
To be at that level, Super Bowl level, and then it, like, you know,
yeah, and
2 years later,
but then like
never again.
You're talking to guys that plays on a team with that, like, if there's any kind of distraction, it's gonna get rid of. Like, you're gonna be gone. So like then you look at that like.
Oh, so you think about it from the Patriots'
Yes,
purview, and you're like, yeah, right. We would never, like, it's just not.
Well, not even that. It's more of like, if there's like one of the number one things for our team is eliminating distractions, so you can only worry about football. I mean, at this point, if you bring a guy like him in, just you're gonna have guys having to answer questions about it, this, that.
And you think that's why teams haven't picked him up?
I mean, I think that has to be a factor, probably. You know, and then also now it's getting. I mean, I'm super surprised that he didn't get picked up earlier when this was all going down, but you know, that's a little above my pay grade.
It turned me off. I didn't watch last season. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So it turned me off from the game. Like, I was very much, and it wasn't like it surprised me either.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's one thing when Marshawn Lynch sits down. He's a running back.
Yeah.
Or a defensive lineman does it. But a quarterback, the most coveted position on the field. He's kneeling. You know, that whole thing. So it didn't surprise me. It disappointed me. Right?
Yeah.
It was a more of a disappointment. It turned me off to the game. And I haven't, and I love football. Like, I love, like, would watch, but I found myself not watching. And the unfortunate part, I think, even for me, as much as I love football and watching it, I didn't really miss it. That's the other part.
Yeah.
Because it turned me off that much.
Well,
like,
let's be honest, and also,
I'm a Raiders fan.
right. So that's the part we always, you know, what are you really coming back to? Watch them win again?
Exactly.
Is that what you really want to do?
Disgusting.
I didn't even want to turn it on. Now, by the way, one thing I thought was really interesting about the Patriots last year, and Ebro doesn't watch, but he does somehow manage to know everything that's going on still. Yeah, Twitter's all he needs.
Social media. Highlight.
Josh Gordon, yeah, he gets the Twitter highlights. He's fine. But Josh Gordon, who had been such a problematic personality other places, really seemed to be clicking with you guys. And then he ends up back in rehab, and hopefully he's doing better. But what did he seem like playing alongside him? Because it seemed to be working.
You know, I think that's what, you know, is kind of portrayed publicly about him. I don't think that's necessarily true that he's problematic. I think he's dealing with a life issue. And, you know, when he was around our team, he was a great teammate. He worked his tail off, practiced hard. You know, some people just have to deal with different things in their life that they have to battle. And I think that's what my guy's going through.
You think he'll be back? You think you guys?
I hope so. I mean, he's a beast. He's a really good football player. I think he needs the game football, you know, for him, for his life to kind of.
Could he potentially become a big distraction like you were talking about, where the team doesn't want to deal with him?
I mean,
or it just becomes, like you said, a distraction.
It does. It kind of does. But you know, I don't know. He's trying to improve himself. He's trying to improve, you know, his lifestyle. And if I don't know. I think he probably needs football a lot.
You guys seem to handle it well, though. It seemed like, you know, it was going great. It worked until he ran into problems again.
Yeah.
Then he left, and you guys seem to keep rolling and find someone, like you always do. Someone else steps in. And did it affect you a lot when he stopped playing, when he left?
You know, it didn't affect me on the field, but off the field, man, it really did. Where you just sit and you feel bad. You know, you feel bad for someone that has to battle through something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different thing with that. You know what I mean? And I can't even say I know anything about it because I've never been put in that situation where I had to, you know.
And Josh's issue is
Alcohol.
So it's probably leaning towards depression, mental health,
Yeah.
and dealing with.
That's what the speculation is. No one really knows. In this case, it was also very loose about what happened. It was just sort of like he kind of came out and was like, I'm not doing good. This isn't working.
And that's very responsible of him.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. From a football standpoint, no one knew what he would play like. He's been in Cleveland all this time. Then he ends up with the best team in the world, and him and Brady it worked. It was working.
He has a talent, and Brady could get you the ball nicely. So these things work.
It worked.
He was taking the top off too. So
Yeah, and it made your life better too. Right.
It opened you up.
Hey,
nicely.
come on, man. Hey, no, you know, hopefully, but you know, on a bigger scale, hopefully he's getting better, and I'm pulling for him, and you know, if he comes back, I'm welcoming him with open arms.
How sick is one of the most talked about football personality in New York over the last 4 years has been Odell Beckham Jr. From a wide receiver standpoint, how ridiculous of a talent is Odell?
Odell's a beast. You know, he's got great short area quickness, great feet, unbelievable hands. He got big hands. He can catch a lot of things. He's got pretty good long speed as well, and he's a playmaker. You know, Odell's a beast. You know, I'm a big fan of him, and you know, it's.
Who do you think is the best wide receiver in football? Besides yourself.
Yeah, there's a few guys. You know, he's up there. I would put AB in there. AB's a beast, and to watch how he works, you know, I appreciate that. I see him on Instagram and stuff, and he motivates me with the way he works. You know, Julio is outstanding up there. You know, those are some of the guys that are doing it well. I think Thielen's pretty good. He's been putting up some stats.
Yeah, he's quietly, his numbers have
you
been
know,
crazy.
and I've put on his routes, and he runs good routes, and he's savvy with what he's doing, and you know, there's a bunch of everyone's good in this league, and I would say some of those guys that I named are closer to the top.
Robert Kraft, the big boss, hanging out with Meek Mill. You saw that he had the chain on. He was wilding out.
I think Meek gave that to him.
Meek gave it to him, right?
I think championship, right?
Yeah, it was a championship. He gave it to him. How fun is he as an owner? Like, because it seems like he's obviously coming to his own, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's become a personality.
He's awesome. You know, he's a guy you want to play for, and you know, you see all the stuff off the field of who he hangs out, his celebrity and all that, but when you see him, like within the building, he's there every day. He's involved. I mean, I don't know how involved he is with a lot of stuff, but I mean, when you're seeing your owner there and he's talking to you a lot, and you see how much he cares for the game, he cares about winning, and you know, I've only heard stories about other places where it's not always about winning. You know, it's about putting people in the stadium or this or that. A lot of those things. You know, he does an unbelievable job of having a great relationship with our head coach and allowing whatever they do to however they do it, go out and get players. And I think I think the world of him, and he's fun to hang out with. Dude's a little boss with his art.
Have you ever been at a party, Gronk is doing his dance, and you know Gronk, music comes on, he's dancing. Here comes Robert Kraft, and they dance battle?
It's an interesting
Super Bowl party. I think I have seen
See,
that.
I knew it happened.
They
I
have.
knew it happened. I knew I could smell it on Robert Kraft. And not the alcohol. I
RKK.
could smell him having a good time.
RKK, he's known to cut the rug a little.
Really?
Yeah. He's a fun guy when we
See, I knew it was
have
a
those
dance
Super Bowl
battle between
parties.
Gronk and Robert Kraft.
Yeah, well, Gronk lives the gimmick all the time. Like that dude's always like anytime you see him out, it's real. He really is partying all the time. It feels like.
I think it feels like it. He doesn't always I think that's just how he is. He's high energy. And it's not like he's out.
Fun. He's having fun,
he's
man.
having fun. I wouldn't say he's out there partying and going out there and getting hammered and drinking up a storm. But he definitely, you know, he's just like a big old teddy bear.
Yeah,
I was at a sports bar with Gronk one time, and he wasn't drinking like
Yeah.
that. He was just fun.
I think
He
we're
just
talking about the
likes
same thing.
having
He
fun.
wasn't even wasted.
Yeah.
He just was turned up.
He's got that natural energy, and that's probably one of the things you're gonna miss the most about a guy like him is that, you know, it's week 12, you're banged up, you're playing a game, it's a short week, we got a long flight. You walk into the building, and usually, you know, you see Gronk smiling. "What's up, dude?" Like,
Right.
you're not gonna have that. Like, he never really had bad days.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, as professionals, when you go into your workplace, those type of people help you get through things. And he was that, and of course, obviously, what he does on the field.
But he really stepped up in the playoffs too, because
Oh, yeah.
he had those moments. I mean, in my opinion, he sealed the Super Bowl. I mean, he was phenomenal in the playoffs.
That was a big play. And
I didn't see it. What happened?
seam route.
Yeah,
He's good
late.
at those.
Fringe.
Big. He's big over the big up the middle right there.
Fringe shot.
And it was just
Empty.
late. It was late in the game where no one was doing anything, and,
Yeah.
and he makes this catch. He goes up and gets it, and that really set them up to close the game.
He's like 6'10", right? What is he? No,
6'7", 265.
So yeah, for football, that's like 6'11".
Yeah.
But he's got great hands
310.
for it too. I mean,
Well, his hands are so big. When he catches a football, it looks like you toss him a beer can.
right?
You know what I mean?
So
Yeah, that's true.
you guys are not gonna go get Zion. Say, yo, Zion Williamson, you don't need to play.
Oh, we welcome him. Welcome with open arms. I mean, that dude's a monster.
He can play football for sure. At his size, you think?
Yeah.
Or is he too tall for football?
What is he? 6'10"?
6'9".
6'10"?
He might be too tall.
No,
way he moves,
6'7".
though.
Yeah, he's more like 6'7".
He's got his feet.
Way he moves and his power, his explosion. I mean, he would be a really good football player. I mean,
Is there something? Is it like just too much open area? Like when guys start getting Gronk's height, right? Because Gronk had those injuries around his ankles and his knees, and just kind of like people.
yeah. I mean, I think that with the rules and regulations, how they keep evolving, where you got to stay away from the head area, that you're more vulnerable to getting those kind of injuries, especially when you can't take a guy like Gronk out by hitting him up at his shoulder.
No, you're not
pads.
doing that.
You know what I mean? He's 265 pounds running fast. You know, you got to go low on these guys.
Yeah.
and,
Wrap them up.
You know, you got to go low and you got to hit them hard. You're not going to wrap up a
Yeah,
horse.
you can't wrap up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's that's just how it goes, and you know it is tough for those big old dudes, and they're 6'6". They're running 18 to 21 miles an hour, and then you're falling 3 feet because I mean, from there to there is 4 feet full speed with the guy on you. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's not even normal.
Listen, man, Julian Edelman has a documentary. Showtime Friday, 100%. Mark Wahlberg, apparently, it says here, is annoyed that he's not producing it. That's one of the bullet points. Is that true, or is that just some internet bullshit?
I think it's some internet stuff.
Because he's from Boston.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like,
Yeah, it was just. I think it was more joking around. It's more joking around, sarcasm.
you ever worked out with Wahlberg? He's a big gym guy.
We have never worked out, but we've kicked it a few times, but never worked out. He's always we've hooped together.
Oh,
We've hooped.
he's got a jumper? He's nice?
He's a lefty. He's actually got a good little jumper. He got a good little jumper. He's got the Celtics.
Who won?
We're playing 3-3, so I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Wait.
You lost. You lost?
Yeah,
Nah.
faded on it.
You lost?
I did not lose.
Oh, so you won. So he lost.
No. I didn't lose though.
Speaking of which, what other Boston athletes are you close with? Do you have a relationship with Big Papi?
I do, but Big Papi, he's hopefully he's feeling better with what he's been going through. He's cool. Some of the Bruins dudes, I've met and hung out with a few of the Red Sox. I mean, it's a pretty small town.
Y'all so happy the Bruins lost? It was so good.
Man,
So good. Yo, I couldn't have. It couldn't happen. I couldn't deal with it, man. Couldn't deal with it.
3-4. That would have been cool.
Nah,
That'd been sexy.
I'm hating. I'm super hating. Super hating.
I would have just put a 3 out of 4 T-shirt out.
All the logos.
Just 3 out of 4, like a fraction.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Any friends with any Celtics?
Tatum, Jalen, the young cats. So actually, when I was suspended, I went and trained at the Celtics facility. So like I would use there because I was still rehabbing my knee
In Waltham.
So I got to kick it with those guys, and it was cool to kind of get an inside picture of seeing how they vibe and then how they were. Big Bane, Thies. I mean, they're all pretty good. It's just I'm getting older, man. They're all so
still
young to
young.
me.
Like
You know what I mean? They're
23,
like
right?
they're like
24.
19, 20, 21, bro.
And you're 32?
I'm 33.
Oh man, Julian.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, it's
Got
time.
these rings.
This is it. Yo, just grow the beard out gray, man. Just, you know what I mean? That should be crazy.
Nah, it would be swaggy though. Be out there like Moses.
You'd be even more Jewish than you already were. Thanks, Julian, man.
All day, guys.
Yo, give it up for him, man. Check him out. Showtime Friday, 100%.